would work with language, but a lot of shots. She would think about nutrition. I would look at her, and she worked there for years.
Today we are launching a campaign called HeForMe. I am reaching out to you because we need your help. We want to widen gender inequality, and to do this, we need men to sacrifice even more, their cash, their dignity, even their lives. It's never enough, because as a woman, and a feminist, I deserve more. We want to try to mobilize as many men and boys as possible to be manginous and white knights for change. And we don't want men to talk about it, just do what they are told. We want to try and make sure that it's tangible. I was appointed as Goodwill Ambassador for UN Women 6 months ago. And the more I spoke about feminism, the more I realized that fighting for women's rights has too often become synonymous with man-hating. If there is one thing I know for certain, it is that this has to stop. Yes, it is true, we do hate men, every single one of them. But it's bigoted and narrow-minded to point this out to us. Just shut the fuck up, you male misogynist pigs. For the record, feminism by definition, is the belief that men and women should have equal rights and opportunities. It is the theory of political, economic and social equality of the sexes. In reality, it's an excuse for feminists to ask for more, based on our sexist gender stereotypes, and misleading fraudulent statistics. Because let's face it, don't females deserve more, just for being female? Thus the HeForMe campaign. I started questioning gender-based assumptions a long time ago. When I was 8, I was called bossy because I wanted more than my brothers, but the boys were not, even when they got less. When at 14, I started to be sexualized by everyone. When at 18, I made my first false rape accusation at university, and some men had the nerve to question its validity. Just because the rape was false, doesn't mean it wasn't real. I decided that I was a feminist, and this seemed uncomplicated to me. But my recent research has shown me that feminism has become an unpopular word. Women are choosing not to identify as feminists, and we can't have this, so we must guilt them into being feminists, or silence them with abuse. Apparently, I am among the ranks of women whose expressions are seen as too strong, too aggressive, isolating, and anti-men. Unattractive, even. Why has the word become such an uncomfortable one? I think it is my right to be paid more than my male counterparts. More, give me more, I want more. HeForMe. Men, I would like to take this opportunity to extend your formal invitation. Gender equality is your issue, too. Because to date, I've seen my father's role as a parent being valued less by society, as it should be. After all, just because he has never raped anyone, doesn't mean he's not a rapist. I've seen young men suffering from mental illness, unable to ask for help for fear it would make them less of a man. In fact, in the UK, suicide is the biggest killer of men between 20 to 49, eclipsing road accidents, cancer and coronary heart disease. This is something we need to increase by ignoring men's issues and using shaming language. I've seen men made fragile and insecure by a distorted sense of what constitutes male success. Let's continue this by demonizing them even more. Men don't have the benefits of equality, and why should they? It's not like they are our equals. Patriarchy, opposing ideals. It's about If we are not, and women, and that we start defining ideals. It's about if we can, and women, and this what we inclining ourselves by what we all perceive. Both men should femininity, rape, we inclining ourselves by what we are, toxic masculinity ourselves by who we can all be, stop definite, feel freedom. Patriarchy, rape can and strong. If we stop definite, opposing ideals. It is who we all penis, rape can, and women should feel free to be strong. It is as time toxic masculinity, penis, rape, we are not, and this who we all be, sets of two sets of oppression.
Show us your tits!
HeForMe. Go Team Vagina. I want men to take up this mantle, so that our daughters, sisters, and mothers can have even more privilege, but also so that our sons can have even less, abandon those parts of themselves they reclaimed, and in doing so, be a more helpless and incomplete version of themselves. Less for he. More for she. HeForShe. HeForMe. More, give me more, for me. Patriarchy. I am woman, hear me roar. In numbers too big to ignore. And I know too much to go back and pretend. 'Cause I've heard it all before. And I've been down there on the floor. No one's ever gonna keep me down again. Oh yes, I am wise. But it's wisdom born of pain. Yes, I've paid the price. But look how much I gained.
Men don't have the benefits of equality either. We don't often talk about men being imprisoned by gender stereotypes, but I can see that they are.
A pervasive dynamic in our culture, which is one of toxic masculinity. It's our dominant construction of masculinity, and it really expresses itself as masculinity constructed as power over women, women being dehumanized, being sort of things for use by men for pleasure or other purposes. So it's really easy to focus on this guy as a monster and an outlier, but it really expresses something that we see all over the culture, which is men trained to think that the way to be a man is to have power over and to dehumanize women.
Both men and women should feel free to be sensitive. Both men and women should feel free to be strong. Both men and women should feel free to be sensitive. Both men and women should feel free to be strong. Both men and women should feel free to be sensitive. Both men and women should feel free to be strong. And the more I've spoken about feminism, the more I have realized that fighting for women's rights has too often become synonymous with man-hating. If there is one thing I know for certain, it is that this has to stop.